Hey guys, CreamCrazy here. Welcome to my WWE No Way Out 2012 predictions vid. Now I'm at a slight disadvantage here because I haven't watched Raw or SmackDown since my revision started at the end of May. So therefore, I've watched a few things online and this pay-per-view, the feuds are roughly in my head, but then again, that's what happens when you've got a lot of revision to do. WWE and wrestling in general just take a slight sidetrack. Thank God, I'm starting to get back into the swing of things. I've got Progress Wrestling next Sunday, so anyone who's coming down to that, try and find me. You know what I look like, all's good. Right, this pay-per-view on paper looks quite average. Much like Over the Limit did, because I'm hoping and I am praying this is better than that, because I hated Over the Limit. I gave it a 1.5 out of 10. What I hope, what I expect will happen are two different things entirely. I expect, nay want, the pay-per-view to at least get above a 4. That's my normal median target. Because, okay, between a 4 and a 6 is where I'd say a pay-per-view is below or above average. Then you've got above 6 is generally good. Below 4 is the epitome of bad, and we have had 2 pay-per-views in that this year. Elimination Chamber and, of course, I've already mentioned Over the Limit. So, I'm hoping this is a 4. My expectations, however, of what could happen means this could turn out to be quite a disappointing show. And because this is on box office, so technically I'm paying for it, this could definitely be not the best thing to get back through into my wrestling into my blood veins for the first time this month. It might not be the best thing. I may have to wait until Progress, where everyone goes completely mental. We may have to find out if that's the case. Right, let's go on these predictions, guys, because 2 minutes in, you're waiting for them, I'm sure. But I'm not going to talk about the pre-show matches. I don't watch them. Unless like Over the Limit, it cuts in just before the pay-per-view begins. That was stupid. Right. First off, we have Santino Marella taking on Ricardo Rodriguez in a tuxedo match. Now, a lot of people have been ripping this to shreds, thinking, why are we paying money for this? Remember Jared Briscoe and Pat Patterson win either... I think it was an evening gown match for the hardcore title, wasn't it? That was fucking stupid. We've seen Howard Finkel in tuxedo matches in the late 90s. No one gave a shit to rip on that, but the good thing about this match is it's not for the US Championship. If it was, I would be pissed off right now thinking, what? How could Ricardo Rodriguez get a championship shot? Okay, sure, he's a trained wrestler, but at the same time, they don't want to let that on. This should be fun to watch, because these two are quite funny to watch generally. Look back at the Rumble, you'll see my exact point. I just feel this will be nothing spectacular. If I'm going to give it anything, I'll probably give it a 1/4 of a star or a 0 on the night. I'll give it to Santino because Ricardo is not going to win shit. Because if he does beat Santino in any kind of match, he'll then automatically become a contender, which is something we do not want to see. Next, Layla defending the WWE Divas Championship against Beth Phoenix. Now, seeing as these two had a good match back at Over the Limit, I gave it 1 star, and for a Divas match, I think the second of the year to get a 1 star from me is a good thing. And these, I expect more of the same. Unfortunately for me, though, just like what happened with Randy Orton and Christian last year, I don't want to see the same match over and over again because it overexposes it, and the match quality will decline when they're trying to get better. This, I think, we'll just have to end it here. And I feel Layla has been a stellar champion, but I do feel Beth Phoenix needs to win the title again because I cannot, for one, see Layla as the face of the Divas division because Beth is the face of the Divas. Because to be honest, she's the only diva a lot of people give a shit about. And not to mention, knowing that pick on WrestleShare showing Karma training, we want to see that feud ASAP. So to give Karma something to fight for and something to actually have a challenge for, Beth Phoenix will win this thing. And I'm telling you that because she could win it next month. Say someone beats Layla in the month, at least in the month surrounding Money in the Bank, and Beth wins the title like that. Maybe Tamina or Eve or even AJ gets a rub for the title, and then Beth beats them, or Karma comes along and destroys them. in the end, I want to see Beth Karma. I think everyone does. So I'm going to obviously jump the gun and not predict too far in the future and just say Beth wins it right here. I could have done it, but you know what? You know me, I wouldn't do anything more different. Beth will be the winner, new champion, all sorted. Right, let's see what's next. Christian, defending the WWE Intercontinental Championship against Cody Rhodes. Now, Christian is re-establishing himself in SmackDown's mid-card against what will be, and I'm saying this because he was my Rising Star Award winner in the 2011 Wrestling Rant Awards. He will be a future world champion, no doubt will Cody. I can see hopefully this being a decent match. Now there's been a small bit of feud building into this because last time it wasn't, and the crowd were dead, and it was a quarter of a star match. So I hope they can build and make this one a lot better, because these two are decent wrestlers, I'll tell you that. Christian, the one thing I want from this is I believe Christian will hold the title for a while, because he will not be trusted with a main event spot, knowing Vince McMahon and knowing who's out of the picture currently. But when you look at what Christian needs to do, he needs to basically put Cody over without Cody winning. Much like what Kurt Angle did to Chris Benoit. In Chris Benoit losing at Royal Rumble 2003, it allowed Benoit to steadily rise up the card on SmackDown and stay in the upper mid-card section before he went to Raw after winning the Rumble. It's the same thing there. You've got to give Cody the biggest rub he can. And remember, when he got beaten by when he beat Big Show and then got beaten up, he managed to get out on his own 2 feet and got applauded by people. So if Cody is made to look very good, this match could be fantastic in terms of general in-ring content and what we get afterwards. That could be good, couldn't it? I mean, Christian will win, but we need to see Cody getting built the right way. And I know Dan Parkin, the biggest Cody Rhodes fan I know, will agree with me there. Crazy. Next, Sheamus defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Dolph Ziggler in place of the concussed Alberto Del Rio. Now, despite Del Rio being concussed, my view for Dolph Ziggler remains the same as Del Rio. Ziggler won't win. Mostly because I know that Sheamus is being built as a major face in the company, and you know a long title reign will do wonders for a person like him. Not to mention, Ziggler will probably get put over well, and he won't win. I mean, I'm not sure if he's going to have Vicky with him. I've heard there's been a bit of fractured relations in that team, but I don't know because I haven't watched it. The fact is, Ziggler will get steamrolled by Sheamus on the way to an Irish champion win. That's what's going to happen. But as long as Ziggler is put over and can finally reach main event level and look like a threat, because he's jobbed to so many people recently, we need him to look strong, don't we? He's valiantly done as a heel would do, just to make him look actually quite weak in comparison with everyone else on the roster, despite his talent. Now, a lot of people are saying he isn't ready yet. I agree. Dolph Ziggler still needs a little more time. Otherwise, I would be happy to stick him there right now. I would stick him in the middle of the main event sector in the latter part of the year when you need someone to grow. Because if you're going to build anyone's career, Survivor Series will probably be one of the best places to do it. So I give Sheamus the win for now, but I can pray Ziggler and Sheamus put on a great match, for definite. And now we get onto the match which I believe everybody wants to see. CM Punk defending the WWE Championship in a triple threat match with Daniel Bryan and Kane. Now, again, based on what I've seen online, this is one of the most interesting feuds in a while because, well, we've got Daniel Bryan and CM Punk, two of the best wrestlers in the world, in a feud with AJ sandwiched in the middle. You think, okay, that'll work out fine. Then you stick the big red machine in there. And it just makes it a bit more clusterfucked, but it actually works because it's funny seeing AJ possibly in the inclination of going out with him. It's fun. It's a little thing that, I don't know, it's just funny that, again, women trouble with Kane. Remember Lita? You remember her? Yeah. It's just something fun, really. And the crowd are loving it. The crowd want to see this match. The internet wants to see this match. And to be honest, if you want to see anything else, the card doesn't really bounce up compared to this. A lot of people want to see it. Kane's inclusion, in my opinion, people are saying, oh, what the fuck is Kane doing in here? He'll ruin the match. He won't ruin it. You see, the fact is, you've got two submission, grappling and striking specialists in Bryan and Punk. We've seen that match already, a bloody good one. But the fact is, imagine this. Kane is a very strong grappler. Does a few high risk stuff from the top rope. That's about it really. Different style there compared to what Bryan and Punk would usually fight against. They would then have to alter their styles to fit around what Kane would do. That would make this match varied and quite interesting, to say the least. So therefore, it really could be good. And I'm having to readjust my computer because the light is being an absolute bastard. There we go. It's probably the best I'm going to get it. And I feel it should be quite fun, just to see how they adapt in ring to this new big giant inclusion. Also, the most intriguing part of this match, where the hell is AJ going to go? Because is she going to help Punk retain? Is she going to help Bryan and Kane win? Or will she stay out of it and just nonchalantly kiss the winner and walk off with us going, damn, what the hell's up with this girl? And create a paradox, an interesting paradox where we don't know what the hell's going to happen with her. It could all go down to her. That's really good because it's good to see a diva in a position like this where she could be in control of a storyline. I mean, sure, the last diva we saw do that was Eve, where she effectively got Zack Ryder quite over and ended up turning heel very well, I might add, thanks to Laurinaitis. So it's good to see a diva not bogged down by the rest of them, because there are divas like Natalya, Tamina Snuka, and of course, well, they're now on leave, Kelly not really doing anything. This is good stuff. To see a diva who actually is at the forefront of one of your main storylines. Means that she gets more exposure, the Divas division is seen to be slightly relevant, and we all win on that front. I don't see Kane winning this at all. It just doesn't seem right. He could just put these guys over. That's all he's there for. It's all I want him to do. He doesn't need to win the title. He had his day in the sun 2 years ago. Therefore, it's down between Punk and Bryan. Now, a lot of people are saying that Bryan will win this because AJ would side with him. However, I don't see it that way. You see, even with the AJ factor, I know you're going to say, oh, you're biased again, Fred, but I'm not. I'm just saying Punk will win, but there's a better reason for it. You see, I see Punk losing the title after a near 8-month reign at Money in the Bank, because of course it'll be the anniversary since the pay-per-view which took him in a meteoric rise to the top. He can then take a short break for about a month or so in a smaller feud with a guy like Miz, for example, to hopefully rebuild him, give someone like Ziggler or Rhodes the championship, or even Bryan for that matter, and then go off to get back at it again later in the year, possibly Rumble time. You know, I think I'm happy to have Bryan or Punk as champion. I would have Punk stay champion, but it's time, in my opinion. I'm not tired of the reign, because of course I would never be tired of Punk, but I feel it's time for some fresh blood at the top. And even at ridding my own bias, I can safely say I want Punk to retain here. But on the anniversary of that enormous success that he created at Money in the Bank, wouldn't it be great to see someone else with the title? It may happen, it may not happen. But that's just my opinion, folks. So I'd say Punk wins this one. But when it comes to Money in the Bank, it might be a completely different story. And finally, we get to what probably will be the main event, as Todd Grisham used to say, with John Cena, the Superman of the WWE, with Vince McMahon at ringside in his corner, taking on The Big Show with John Laurinaitis at ringside in his corner in a steel cage match. Now, there's a stipulation which makes this prediction so easy. To be honest with you, if you're having a hard time picking the winner out of this match, then I must be slightly concerned. Either you have high optimism for one or the other, or you legitimately have no clue. And I don't want to insult you in any way. Because if Big Show loses, if he loses, John Laurinaitis gets fired. And I bet Adam, I'll be doing well on the bus, mate. A lot of people online, including some of my mates, will love to see that happen. The other side of the coin, if Cena loses, then he will be fired. Now, this situation is fucking stupid. Because if you know your history, you will know that if Cena is fired for one iota of a second, he will come back the next night. And that just ruins it for me. Because, okay, my idea going into this was for the feud to at least make sense, Cena would need to be crushed by the Big Show. Because if the stipulation wasn't there, then I would be fine to see that happen. Because then at least it shows Laurinaitis has dominance and his stable could formulate and it would all make sense. The fact is, when you've got Cena in a situation where he'll be fired, that situation is out the window. Big Show has no chance in hell of winning. And I don't want Big Show to win so he can then come back into... So Cena will then come back on the next night and beat the shit out of him, beating some security guards through the hallways, through Laurinaitis' cronies, and then through him. That's not how it works. No, it shouldn't be that way. It happened when he was fired at Survivor Series 2 years ago, wasn't it? Yes, 2 years ago, Survivor Series. He's fired, comes back the next night, beats up all the Nexus. Really stupid thing. So if this happens again, it's predictable as shit, basically. I know a couple of you have said Big Show will win, but come on. Laurinaitis is going to be out of a job, much to my displeasure, because he's a decent authority figure, might I add. And honestly, if Cena doesn't win, I'll be stunned, because this is a steel cage match. There's no DQ. Interference can happen at any time. So... really, I should be saying there is a possibility Laurinaitis can interfere, but of course Vince McMahon will do everything he can to stop it. I'll just say Cena wins. We'll see how it goes on Sunday, eh? Because if Cena doesn't win, if Cena doesn't win, right? Big Show wins, Cena's fired. I think Laurinaitis would do anything to keep Cena out of the building, don't you think? You think Cena would, you know, at least try and get in the building, and there would be security everywhere. You'd think that, because Laurinaitis is that kind of guy, very protective of what his interests are, and he's interested in not having Cena beat his ass. So I could say Big Show, but I can't. Cena is the obvious one here. And also, just to put this out there, Triple H will also address the Brock Lesnar situation. I predicted something like that would happen, and I've got it right again. Guys, there are my predictions. I hope you've enjoyed, and I hope this video hasn't frozen again. I've updated my Flash player twice since this holiday period of revision started. This hopefully should be good. You guys, hope you've enjoyed this. Hope you're looking forward to the pay-per-view on Sunday. Put your opinions down there on what your predictions are per video response if you want to. State your opinion. I will reply as soon as I can. Click the subscribe button up there if you haven't already. I really appreciate the support. If you like my vids, you click that thing. Also, got a little thing I'm going to do in a minute. I'm going to watch WrestleMania 10 in my anthology box here. I'm going to watch that and then have a Friday flashback review ready on Friday when my exams will be over. That'll be something good. Also, I want to point this out quickly. I'm doing there's a thing I did about a couple of years ago. I had a wrestling book idea. And I had this thing where I had a list. I was making a criteria-based list of who is the greatest wrestler of all time. Now, that book is never going to be made unless I have a lot of input from not just me, but other people. And I really wanted to use this greatest wrestler of all time thing as video content. I got a short list of 50 wrestlers from around the world, and I'm going to rate them on a base of criteria until I get a top 10 of the greatest of all time, and I will make a video out of that before I go to Australia so you guys get a fantastic vid from me. And remember, guys, also Q&A questions as well. We've got 2 weeks to go for that. Make sure you get them in. I'm looking forward to more of them because I've been missing those coming through my inbox. I have been Cream Crazy. You've been people watching. This has been my No Way Out 2012 predictions vid, and I will see you Monday morning for the review of said pay-per-view. Cheers.